Hey folks, Jim here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop us a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys and it goes a massive way to help the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue 67 of Imperium magazine and we have two paints. So it is a paint issue, yeah. I'm not always the biggest fan of paint issues because they can be a little bit dull, but we get white scar paint. This, some people will find this handy. I personally won't. I have 2 pots of this already. So yeah, not sure I'm not going to need that anytime soon. But you know, it's good for white edge highlights, that type of thing, if you need it. And we get Tesseract Glow. Now, I have a pot of this already. I've used it 3 times, maybe, in the couple of years that I've owned it. It can come in handy for making things like toxic spills, and it can also come in handy for your Necrons. So on the Necrons, for instance, where everything is white, where certain parts of your Necrons are currently white, like the eyes and the kind of the chambers for weapons and stuff like that, and the actual blades of weapons, your Tesseract Glow is going to come in handy if you're following the painting guide from the magazine. So do with this as you will. Into the issue we go though. So first off, we are greeted by the Silver Templars, the Swords of Novaris. Established in the wake of the Indomitus Crusade, the Silver Templars are one of the galaxy's youngest Space Marine chapters. They have, however, proven themselves to be heroic and committed defenders of the Imperiums in the years since their founding. So, with the Silver Templars, they are a new, fresh chapter. So, they were established during the Ultima founding. The ranks of the Silver Templars are comprised entirely of Primaris Space Marines. As successors of the Ultramarines chapter, they are scions of Reboot Guilliman. Since their founding, the Silver Templars have maintained close relations with MacLeod, fighting alongside Ultramarines against the Death Guard and earning the respect of their first founding brothers. So, though the Silver Templars adhere strictly to the Codex Astartes in respect to chapter organisation, in many ways they are markedly different to their Ultramarine brothers. They have gained the reputation as cold and aloof warriors who focus only upon the battle at hand, displaying little in the way of emotion. As expert duelists, the Silver Templars prefer to single out opponents, particularly champions and commanders, and focus their attentions upon eliminating this chosen foe before moving on to the next target. So, with these guys, they have a kind of a single-mindedness, so they kind of don't care what's going on around them. They don't care about the overall battle as well, so they'll focus on what is in front of them, and yeah, away they go, and not really care what's going on behind them. So, or even what could be coming up later on. So who knows? But yeah, that's generally how these guys work, and they are a newer Space Marine chapter as well, which is pretty damn cool. So, with these guys as well, we get a bit more information about the Bond Marshals. So the Silver Templars are known to form exceptionally close bonds with their vehicles and weapons. The loss of a bonded weapon or destruction of a bonded vehicle is seen as a great tragedy and brings dishonour to the warrior in question. Some Silver Templars have undertaken lengthy and costly quests in order to recover a bonded weapon and redeem themselves in the eyes of their battle brothers. So, think of it as in you would have like a named blade or something like that maybe, and you want to get this legendary weapon back. So for instance, if you go for Warhammer Fantasy, you'd have Gotrek and Felix from the stories, and you may have, say like for instance, if Gotrek lost the Star Metal Axe of Grimnir, then he would probably go on a quest to retrieve it and see himself as being dishonoured by losing it in the first place. So that's what these guys are like. The liberation of Novaris is also mentioned here as well. So when the Silver Templars first arrived upon Novaris, they found its population enslaved by the Flawless Host, a band of Slaanesh worshipping heretic Astartes, and forced to toil in a demonic few forges. Blair, when I can learn to speak. The Silver Templars executed a series of swift strikes targeting and destroying the foe's leadership. Captain Ducas of the First Company eventually slew the Flawless Host's leader, Lyrus Soulsaver, in single combat, ending the war. So, and then you get a bit of information about Novaris as well, being a planet of great beauty, and was gifted to the Silver Templars to serve as their chapter planet. And it is quite a wild planet as well at the same time, and the general population are divided into feudal kingdoms as well on this planet as well, so it makes it little bit different and a little bit kind of more unique, and you would actually have Templars on that type of planet, so it's that's kind of like the idea behind it, I think, overall. So really kind of good, and not too bad, pretty decent. Then we get information about some more of the forces from the Space Marines, and that is their vehicles, the gravitic battle tanks. Now, some people love these battle tanks and these new kind of hovercraft tanks. I'm on that boat. I do kind of like them. They look not too bad. They look pretty decent. They look like a rhino with some extra bits and pieces on them. Some people hate these, though, in all honesty. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, introduced to the armories of the Adeptus Astartes relatively recently, repulsor transports use anti-gravity technology and turbine engines developed by the Martian priesthood. So, the idea behind the fact that the repulsors and impulsors and much more that can travel along, they can actually just kind of float over everything like a hovercraft. They can go over water, they can even go over lava, and even over any uneven trenches and battle lines and stuff like that as well. And not only that, it has a little secret weapon. Any enemies, if it's surrounded, they can utilise the vents on the actual vehicle to push and knock enemies off their feet, by kind of forcing out that way. So a little bit different, kind of a little bit funny at the same time. So not too bad, I kind of like that idea. The impulsors, though, utilise the same gravitic tech as repulsors, but are far more lightly built and swifter. Their chassis are highly adaptable, capable of being fitted with a wide range of additional weapons, communications and sensory equipment to aid the driver and crew in the midst of battles. So they can have anti-aircraft, they can have kind of energy weapons, they can have random kind of mortar shells and much more, but yeah, no, they're pretty cool. I do kind of like them. So, and then on the other page we get the gladiators. Now the gladiators are slightly utilising the same basic chassis as the impulsor transport. The gladiator tank sacrifices all of the impulsor's transport capability in order to mount a formidable array of weapons. So it has quite a few weapons on this one, so really good stuff, and looks pretty cool. I do kind of like it, although Space Marines aren't really my thing. Maybe a Sisters of Battle one would be really good one though, I must admit. So not too bad, pretty cool. Then we get information about one of the heroes from the 41st Millennium, Commander Dante, Lord of the Host. To describe Dante as a mere legend would be an insult. He is the oldest living Space Marine, the chapter master of the Blood Angels and the regent of the Imperium Nihilus. So, to his fellow chapter masters, Dante is the purest example of the fearlessness, skill at arms and strategic skill of the Adeptus Astartes. To the commanders of the Imperial Guard, he is much welcome ally at the foremost of the Imperium's defence, and much more. So, he utilises things like the death mask of Sanguinius as well, so it's his golden helm. He is golden armoured and pretty damn cool as well, I must admit. He's a pretty cool one. But the coolest hero in 40k, in my opinion, is Mephiston, the Lord of Death. Now, this is the chief librarian of the Blood Angels, Mephiston, when I can learn space name properly apparently, is a figure of awe in the chapter, for he is the only son of Sanguinius to have ever wholly cast out the Black Rage. Mephiston was once Calistarius, a promising librarian. During the Second War for Armageddon, he fell to the Black Rage. During the subsequent fighting, he was buried beneath falling masonry, trapping him for days. He was tormented by visions, teetering between life and death, sanity and madness. Yet he did not succumb. So, Mephiston is kind of your very vampiric looking Space Marine. One of the coolest ones, I must admit. It's one of the nicest minis I think I've seen for a long time as well. I genuinely do like the Mephiston mini. Really good stuff, but pretty damn cool as well with him. So if you like your Blood Angels, definitely two of the heroes you want to get. Dante and Mephiston. Spot on. Bang. Really good. Right, now we move on to the how to paint section. The how to paint section will teach you how to use your Tesseract Glow. So A bit of Tesseract Glow will seep into kind of all them nooks and crannies on models as well. It works like a contrast paint in a lot of ways, so it gives it a kind of a bright, eerie glow. So if you're using it on your ranged weapons, your power cables, eyes, and much more, you will have a really nice time of it as well. So it looks pretty good, and even your Cryptek cubes as well, which does look good. Even on your weapons, you can make it look really nice and make it stand out. So really good stuff. Definitely worth having a crack at and enjoying yourself with as well. So yeah, why not? Have a bit of fun with this if you are following the paint guide. You don't need too much of a paint on there. Too much of it can make it look a bit patchy and a bit weird, like it does over the Necron blades. In all honesty, I think it looks a little bit patchy, which is why you have to do all these extra bits. Yeah, it's one of them weird ones. Really nice, but can look a bit poor at the same time. So be careful with it, have a bit of fun though, and enjoy yourself really. And then we get our kind of paint section about White Scar, which is just using it to highlight, especially on things like weapon cables and stuff like that. You can kind of pick out the very edge, and it makes it look like it's a lot brighter than it is where it is for good old things like your Tesseract Glow. But otherwise, when you're done, you're going to have something that looks kind of similar to this. Does work, it's not bad, it's pretty good. It's yeah, a very formidable looking army when you got it going, so could be really good. If you're following the paint guide, you'll have something similar to this, which is a perfectly viable way of painting Necrons, in all honesty. So, though, if you are using any other bits and pieces, you can use Tesseract Glow, for instance, on the kind of bottles and cables and much more that you've got on your, like your Tech Priest Dominus and much more. And even things like on the Outriders screens, you can use a little tiny bit on there, and then a bit of White Scar around the edge, and it does make it look like it's a glowing screen on their bike, and bits and pieces like that. So yeah, it does work. It's not bad if you're following the paint guide. If you're not following the paint guide, it doesn't matter. You paint it how you want to paint it, have a bit of fun with it, and enjoy yourself. That's the main thing with it. Then we move on. We get more faction rules for Adeptus Mechanicus, so the Holy Orders. So we've got Genitors, Logi, Magi, and Artisans. Their progressive abilities and much more are listed on here as well, so you can utilise all of these and how these abilities work within the battles as well. So if you are an Adeptus Mechanicus player or thinking about becoming an Adeptus Mechanicus, this is what you're going to want to do. So have a bit of fun with it. Pretty good stuff though, and yeah, really does teach you how to get going with it. And then we move on, we get our battle for the week. So complete the scan. So 75 power battle. You will have a circle in the middle of the battlefield, which is using 4 battle mats, and you have plenty of space to deploy in. Really good stuff. I've not tried it yet. I will probably give it a try at some point, but really good battle, so definitely worth having a crack at. Enjoy yourself with it, and yeah, definitely have a bit of fun. But with all that said, we'll move on to what's coming next issue, which should be next week, which is our 3rd and final Kinetic Wraith. We'll also get some more Necron Warlord traits, and learn about the 3rd Tyrannic War. And then issue 69 and 70, we get Marnius Calgar and the Victrix Honor Guard. Really good stuff. So they are split into 2 issues because of a sprue, because it being on 2 sprues. There are parts from one sprue on the other, so you might not be able to finish for one model first time round, but really good stuff, in all honesty. Should be here, issue 68 should be available next week. With it being Christmas, it may be delayed. I don't think it will be. However, the issue 69, I believe, will be delayed by at least a week, maybe 2, in all honesty. So it might be the 2nd week of January, but I will keep you updated when I know more. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye bye now.